haven't done a video on Nick Fuentes in a while, so I'm going to now because apparently white nationalists might be turning on him. Here's the thing, Nick Fuentes to me is a very confusing character. He's obviously a bad person, we all know this. He stands for awful things. But he started this when he was 16 and now he's 26. And people, when you're a teenager, you say and do a lot of stupid shit that you might not later in life. And sometimes I feel like he's trying to backpedal his way out of something he went too far into. Because his language does change from time to time.
All of the realist in history were virulent anti-Semites and racists. When people say white nationalist, racist, anti-Semite Nick Fuentes, I'm just reading real ass Nick.
And the way he phrases things, like trying to create a larger tent of people to be under this nationalist influence or ideology, right? Because he talks about how if you're born here, you know, you can be a white nationalist because you have birthright citizenship. But true white nationalists don't feel that way. So he was criticized and then he did not react well to the criticism. That's one thing I do notice about Nick Fuentes. If you criticize him, he just doesn't handle it well. So it's a guy named Douchebag1, I think, who posted something, and it's a little video, like cartoon that he made with a voiceover.
So, fellas, and my hard R fellas that have joined the channel, let's talk about white nationalism and if Nick Fuentes is really a white nationalist. There was recently some tension between Nick and a few fellow prominent voices with other dissident pro-white advocates, let's say. I don't think anyone will break this down the same way I will, so I feel a responsibility to do so. Now, I'm a dirty, rotten civic nationalist. Trash me all you want. I welcome it and I embrace it.
So this guy's a racist. I don't like calling them nationalists. You're not a nationalist, you're a racist. You're the measles of mankind. That's what Einstein said.
Since I believe the answer to many of our problems in society requires several degrees of white nationalism, let's get started with what Nick Fuentes said that caused so much concern.
And by the way, I don't care what color you are. I know maybe that's going to be controversial on my side. But seriously, if you have citizenship, if you were born in this country, this is your birthright.
Now, the criticism that will be levied at Nick Fuentes, and understandably so, is he said...
Okay, that's what he said, and they're not happy about that. They don't believe that. That's not their thought process, Nick. And you know that. He has I'll show you clips of other things he said in the past, and I'm like, is he just trying to backpedal out of his racism, or like trying to open it up so that he can slowly move out of it? Like again though, don't forget, this is not a good person. I am not fucking advocating for Nick Fuentes. He is a piece of shit. But I think he's confused. I personally think that he has demons because he's a bisexual man. I'm not going to say he's gay because I think he might like women, but he's a bisexual man, you know, and he's realized that he's entered a world where he's not going to be able to be who he is. So...
said he knew it was going to be controversial, that he doesn't care what color you are. If you're born here, you're a citizen, and he made it sound like they have an equal stake in the country as white people do. That's how...
Do you hear how upset this guy is?
Any reasonable person would interpret that. Now, he may be trying to cast a wider net since he's becoming more in the mainstream, but he didn't let anyone know he was going to say this, and so they were kind of asking questions, being like, can we get some clarification on that?
So he caught criticism for it. And this is his reaction. So someone sent in $50 to his super chat. Went back 2.0. My feed was filled with Fuentes is for birthright citizenship. Is that true? Separately, do you believe just because a Mexican was born here that they have a birthright? Mexicans were only 4% of the pop until 1970 and the largest collective of welfare recipients, etc. A foreigner in the Bible is not determined by paperwork, but by blood. See, Nick, you entered a world of true white nationalists. These guys are Sieg-heiling white supremacists, dude. You are their leader. You're their leader. And so this was sent to him. Now here's his reaction to that.
On my show last week, we're talking about Israel first versus America first. And I said that Josh Hammer, his wife is Israeli. His kids are Israeli. I said, they're not even from here. I said, if you're from here, if you're born here, I said, this is your birthright. This is America. And I saw all of my ankle biters in the pro-white movement took that clip and they said, is Nick Fuentes endorsing birthright citizenship? And what was funny is the only people that heard it that way were like so-called white nationalists. Isn't that amazing? Because I haven't proven that I'm pro-white. Like I do a show every night. I was at Charlottesville.
But Nick, for them, if you ain't white, you ain't right. It's not if you were born here. No. No. That's not the white supremacist mindset, dude. And you're their leader.
I opposed Donald Trump in the election because he wasn't in favor of an immigration moratorium. I'm against Donald Trump because he's not deporting enough people. I say this every night.
And so he has to say stuff like that because he can't fully remove himself. That would be too brash, and no one on our side would believe it was real, and everyone on his side would know, oh, you never really believed this. He's trying to do the dance, I think.
Right. And they took this little loophole.
But be wary of people like this, because he's a really great orator and he's really, really good at delivering a message. And people like that are dangerous because it depends on the message they're delivering. He delivers all hateful messages. I, again, not advocating for this motherfucker. I'm just saying, I think he went in too far and wants to slightly move out. You'll notice through the language.
Semantic thing and say, oh, so I guess he's in favor. And this is why I have a real problem with a lot of white nationalists.
What's funny to me, though, about white nationalist men is that Nick Fuentes and a lot of other people that they follow and worship will talk down to them. He called them ankle biters. He talks shit about his own following all the time. It is funny, though, how white men can be they're simps. They're simps for other white men. His last name is Fuentes. Okay?
Shouldn't you be supporting me? Like, isn't this a time when our people should be circling the wagons around each other rather than see the bigger picture and give me the benefit of the fucking doubt? If ever there was a person or a time to do that and circle the wagons and say, he's right, this is about America first. Nope.
And this is how he's pleading to them. I'm just trying to be America first. I'm just trying to be America first. But America is not just, it doesn't mean white people first. That's not what America means.
Zoomer historian was another one. No, let's dunk. Let's dunk on him because that's really helpful. That's productive.
So I can't find what Zoomer historian initially said. I just have his response to what Nick just said. And he said, really insufficient reply. Everyone quite rightly had a problem with that clip because Nick said that no matter what color you are, failed to mention that repetitively in here along with the rest of the quote, then America is your birthright. Everyone is aware of pro-white things Nick has said, but when you see a clip like that, where it's explicitly said that any non-white born in the US has a birthright to the US, then people are obviously going to take exception. There is no way to interpret that positively. Would have been far easier to say he got carried away and didn't word that one perfectly, rather than bugging out and acting like the world is against him.
And the funny thing about these white men too is like his last name is Fuentes. They made the leader of their white nationalist party a guy who's half Mexican. Like, and now you're going to be surprised when he's sitting here saying that maybe some of them are okay. Yeah, well, because I don't know which one of his fucking parents is Mexican, but one of them is. And maybe everything's hitting a little too close to home, Nick, because you are half Mexican. You are of Mexican descent. Some of your family, I'm sure, will be deported. Like, bro.
Like, there's this all-out attack from the Republican Jewish Coalition, from Mark Levin, from...
Nick, these are not leftists that will support you no matter what, blindly. These are principled, dissident, white right-wingers. If you abandon the principle, they're going to be critical of you, and rightfully so, because there's a lot of infiltration that happens in pro-white movements, and people are skeptical of you, and rightfully so. You're in a very unique position.
Nick Fuentes will soon be politically unhoused. Okay, he's not going to know where he stands because his white nationalist party is not going to get behind him anymore. Maybe they'll catch on to Fuentes is not a fucking white last name, but also the fact that he started this when he was 16. He's now 26. Maybe things are changing, or maybe he is changing, or he could be using this as a way to create a bigger tent to gain more following so that later he can then, use that following for the white power. I don't know. That didn't happen at the same time. I did not. I'm going to edit that. But he'll gain following so that maybe this then turn it back into a white power thing. I don't know. It's weird. I never understood the white power shit. I don't understand any form of nationalism. It's so tribal. It's stupid. But now I want to leave this on something fun. So here's Bill Maher. He did 24 Things You Don't Know About Me, the Nick Fuentes edition. Gotta get laughs where we can.
About Nick Fuentes. For example, I'm in a racist a cappella group called Boys in the Hoods. My drag queen name is Jan 6th.
That's a good one.
I once beat Elon Musk in a high loft. Well, I'm not gay, but a guy I'm fucking is.
So true.
I once called ICE to report on the part of me that's Mexican. Wow.
Someone go pick up his mom.
Kanye once asked me if I was off my meds. My followers are called gripers, but will also accept vaginal kryptonite.
It's accurate.
I will boycott the Super Bowl because of Bad Bunny. Also because my parents' basement doesn't have a TV. My mom freebased Tylenol when she was pregnant with me.
Yeah. By Trump standards, that makes sense.
And I'm against interracial marriage, but I wouldn't say no to a weekend in Nuremberg with Candace Owens. All right.
Well, there you have it. Let's end that on a funny, happy note. Anyway, have a great weekend. This is Putting You On Pod. I put you on. You hit subscribe. Thanks. Bye.